What's good, everybody? Jets Flight Squad in the building. We got your boys as normal. Appreciate you guys tuning in with us. DKBxJets. I got Italy Jet here. Find him on the Jets Evening Brew. I got my boy Gunny Gumby with us. New York Jets Situation Report. Also catch him on the Thursday Thick of It, and some other places. You know, we pop up here and there. Gino's probably the most consistent of us, but
Big facts.
goddamn, another week.
Another shit show. Another week, another shit show. Another shit show.
Another crap storm our way, right?
Man.
Rocky ass
what's up,
flight for
baby?
us.
And it was against the Dolphins.
I can't believe
It's more
man.
depressing when it's the division rivals.
Yep.
Oh, I
It hurts
agree.
more.
Hands
It
down.
hurts a lot more. Yep.
Bills or Patriots and Dolphins. It's so depressing.
Back-to-back smackdowns, bro. Back-to-back embarrassing primetime performances. And it's so bad, man. Last night I'm watching Sunday Night Football, and it was the Chargers at half, right? About to hit the halftime mark. And the announcers are like, man, I can't help but think about the New York Jets when they went for the Hail Mary at halftime on Friday. What a blunder that was, I'm sitting there like, wow, punchline. Another punchline.
It wasn't even a bad decision.
Whoa.
Like, that's what the hell you do in any situation.
Yeah.
Like,
But because we're the Jets,
Yeah.
we would allow a 99-yard interception return for a touchdown. Pick six.
And Mosley should have had that tackle.
Mosley
coming
wasn't out
on
there.
with
What you
Holland.
mean? Mosley's
Sorry,
on,
Mosley. Sorry. Fuck. This is how much the Jets fucked me up in the head, guys. God damn,
offense
dude.
gave up that score, bro. Like
This is
I
how
was gonna
much
let
the
him
Jets
slide,
fucked
Gunny.
me up. No,
Nah,
don't
I
let
had
me
to do
slide.
it, bro. Like that. I was
No,
like,
no.
wait, Mosley, hold on. He wasn't even out there.
I'm still in the
But no,
Roll Tide eras right now.
You're just mad in general, bro. Like, and I don't. blame
I'm
you.
just
This
Gunny.
team-
I'm not mad. I'm depressed. I'm just depressed. That's what it is.
I'm at the anger stage of what this team has done to me, man, for this season. The hype, the belief, all of us getting on here in front of a camera looking like fools, talking about what this team can be and will be, and at this point, bro, like it's just been a complete debacle. And I go back to it, man. I blame freaking Joe Douglas, then I blame Nathaniel. I hate Nathaniel Hackett. I think he's a bum. Especially you're seeing Russell Wilson looking like he remembers how to play football again with a competent freak. Oh my God, it makes the whole thing even that much more sour because the Broncos are right now in the AFC playoff picture. The Broncos with Russell Wilson playing. I mean, granted, not the football we've accustomed to him playing in times past, but he's playing good football, good enough for them to be in the conversation.
it's top 10
to make the playoffs. That's oh my God, man! I can't believe this is our story. This is what we do. This is what the New York Jets do. This is our legacy story, right? This is.
But you add it
it's
to it.
all about getting smacked around and smacked down. Then we'll all be back here. Me, you, DK, Gino, Jigga. We'll all be back here next season, next off season, talking about like this is it. We finally figured some things out. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. We know we had a good draft, and we're gonna go ahead and talk ourselves into believing this team can figure it out. And
Nope.
I have zero faith that that's the reality, man. I've gotten to that point now where I accept the I expect the worst from this team.
Oh yeah.
And I will pray,
every year.
I will pray for the best. But God, we're here again. End of November, beginning of December. We're talking about the draft once again because our season is over.
Oh my God, I hate the draft talks. It's true, but I hate it. God.
You know what gives me hope though is we've seen with like I don't want to say historically, but like in the last 15 years or so, we've seen some of the worst in our division. Like at one point, even with how our seasons will fall off the rails towards the end of the year, we need one win in 5 games and we can't get it. Like we've seen the Dolphins and the Bills be down bad, like where you can just assign them basement level in the AFC and you knew that was going to be like a guarantee, right? So if they could pull their heads out their asses at some point, I will continue to hold out hope that we won't be I
mean,
I don't know.
that's the
It's
thing,
like a
though.
Matrix environment right now where somebody just has us glitching out as the fuck ups.
I mean,
You're what's
it's like a
called
movie.
optimistic
We're
Jets fan,
playing.
DK.
Oh yeah, I gotta be, because at this point, like, I could very easily swap out this green for a Philly green, and
Yeah, I can easily
I-
be a Lions fan right now.
my grandpa would
Why
be
not?
very excited when I start dropping Eagles content. Like,
Y'all not built for that soft shit though. Y'all built for this lifestyle that
oh
we
yeah, I'm
chose.
not, bro. Look,
I know.
care.
I mean, I've been doing it since I was 9. What else are we gonna do with that? So
I got ice in my veins for a reason.
it's like
My bad, I'm
what
just reading the
him
comment.
Solomon
Yeah.
Jets? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. That's the way to go about it, yo. If you don't have to suffer through the whole 60-minute
Just don't
debacle.
watch it. But then you got 3 crazy idiots that are gonna look at film. We're gonna look at the game all over again. It's just
it's
I know
crazy.
It's what we do.
The
It's what
love-hate
we
relationship with our team,
Yeah.
because we care deeply.
It's like an ex. It's like a psychotic ex.
A
It's an
rational
abusive
love story.
relationship. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? We keep getting sent to the hospital. You know,
Yeah.
we got black
Urgent
eyes,
care.
bruised ribs.
It's-
and every
yeah,
time we're
home
there, they're
calls.
Like, do you want to go?
Hey,
ahead?
what
Yeah.
is it they say?
You know, talk to, you're like, no, I fell down the stairs, or
Right,
I ran into the
right.
doorknob. You know what? No, it's
Nah.
my fault. This happened. Like,
What's
that's what
that
we are.
nut shit they say? They say, yeah, he's hurting me because he loves me. He's
Right.
he's doing it to me, so I know he loves
Right.
me. It's all right. I'm
Right.
coming back
Who
for more,
cares?
honey.
That's why he's putting in this extra effort and time.
Hey,
Right.
he only blacked one eye, so I gotta check in and see what the hell's going on
Yeah,
here.
something's wrong. I
only
have
black
a
in
plain
one
good
now?
eye on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's so bad, man.
But-
Like,
It's like I know we're close.
Shit.
The defense wise, like
Defense is perfect to me. If you can keep pulling it, if you can keep
It's
quitting
the-
after about
you
the
understand.
third quarter and you still look this great, and I'm pretty sure, and I can pull it up in a minute, but I'm pretty sure we're closer, still in top 10 status. The way we be getting railroaded, like, this defense was probably going to be a number 1 defense this season if the offense had any semblance of just being functional. That's all I'm asking for. 40% third down conversion rate. Get to 20 touchdowns. I guarantee you our defense is number 1 in the league.
and not only that, Morstead and Zerline are our best players right now.
Yeah, on offense, if it's not Greg the leg, you can't point at anybody else. Maybe Brees. He's the life and engine of the team, but
We need to talk to Brees and Wilson to get them off a ledge.
nah, that's not going to happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is like
Oh, I know.
Aaron Rodgers is that like what's the little fucking
keep-
meme? You got to be quicker than that. Like it. Aaron Rodgers is right.
Oh
$1.
shit!
You trying to get it.
Oh my god!
Aaron Rodgers is right there, and they just
This is gonna turn into a State Farm commercial.
Hey, bring him in, because I'm gonna need some insurance.
Life insurance at this point, bro.
Yeah.
Some extra life insurance.
Like,
This
I'll
team,
triple down.
And the thing is, I don't even want him. I mean, I know he's gonna come back. Like Commanders, they're saying you're gonna come back, right? But I don't want him to come back with this offensive line. But if it does spark something for this team to have faith in to go into next year, that's the only one thing I maybe sign up for.
Nah,
But
I don't need
Other
Aaron
than
Rodgers
that,
coming back.
I'm scared he's gonna get injured again. That's
Listen,
it.
Aaron Rodgers.
We
comes
put
back,
all of
he's
our
gonna
eggs in
fuck
one
around
basket for this.
and fuck up our goddamn draft order. I ain't with that. Aaron Rodgers needs to sit his ass at home.
I get it, Gunny, but you know
watch
what I'm
these
saying.
games. I don't need him coming out here messing up a good thing. We're trying to work out a good draft position. Listen, I
We're
think
ranked
Aaron
number 8
Rodgers
right now.
Aaron Rodgers alone coming into the building is going to spark hope for all of us. I think we're all going to be right back here again in the offseason with a healthy Aaron Rodgers talking about like, okay, this is how good it can be, right? So for me, I'm cool with this. This season is trash. It's a wash. Like people are talking about like, oh man, we're technically still mathematically, and I'm like, we need to stop. This is the Jets. The moment Aaron Rodgers went down and they said Zach Wilson was our quarterback, we should have known then. We should have known then. This is our fault. We did this to ourselves because we should have known then the season was over. And Zach Wilson tantalized us a little bit with a couple of wins, beat the Buffalo Bills. You know, he looked like he was at least a average backup in the NFL, and we started falling for it, and then we got our feelings hurt. So for me, I don't see the Jets winning another game moving forward, man.
Dakota, you're at it again.
Oh, Dakota.
Dakota's at it again. She's
9-8.
She, I don't know. I don't know what is, but it's at it again.
The weed's great in North Dakota. I heard.
The optimism.
That's some great positivity, Dakota. Great positivity.
I wish I had that ability, man. Like that. What game did you?
The oxygen's cleaner over there.
Gunny, they're playing Madden.
The oxygen's cleaner over there. All right. Operating at a higher level.
What about Madden? They play Madden?
I look at it like this, right? For me, I feel like we're looking at the worst case scenarios now, right? Worst case scenario is that the New York Jets win some meaningless games in the next freaking 6 games we've got left, whatever it is. Win some meaningless games, and we wind up messing up our draft stock, and we're out of the contention to get potentially the top wide receiver or the top offensive lineman on the board.
We got six games.
You know what I'm saying? Like 6 games left. So like, I don't see a scenario or a situation where I see this team and I feel pretty good about this game or that game. I look at Washington. People are like, oh man, we can is it Washington or the Falcons next week?
We have Falcons and then we got Texans.
Falcons. We're going to get smoked by the Texans. The Texans are going to smack us around. That's not even a given. But like the Falcons, I don't even know if we can beat those guys. Like,
and you don't know what their quarterback is going to be too. Like, you just don't know what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, like there's no scenario in my mind and that I see that makes me feel good about the potential of what this season can look like. I think the best case scenario is, and I'll never root for them to lose, but I'm ready for them to lose, if that makes any sense, right? Like, I'm not going to root for my team's failure because I'm not built for it, but my God, am I ready for it? And I feel like that would be the most positive outcome to come to the end of the year. I mean, if we have to win one more game, if we absolutely have to win one more game this year, let it just be the Patriots game. Let's end that freaking drought, end one of the droughts. You know what I'm saying? We can't add another freaking year to the playoff drought and then add another year to not beating the freaking bum Patriots. So if we've got to win one more, Jets, if anybody on the Jets, if you got to win one more game, let it be the Patriots game. That's all we're asking. Just don't waste it on winning some meaningless game that's not going to really matter or have any kind of an impact for us as a fan base. But take away one of those freaking long-standing droughts, man. Like, the Patriots are so bad, and to not be able to beat them at this point is just embarrassing. So let's do that. Let's beat the Patriots end of the season. Send us off on a high note into the offseason with a great draft position and the potential of what Aaron Rodgers can be for us next year. But man, Dakota, we will beat Atlanta. Come on, Dakota. What makes you feel that confident that we can beat it? I gotta ask, Dakota. Like, put it on the screen, man. How? Like, what makes you feel so confident that we can beat Atlanta?
We're not going to beat him. We're not going to beat him.
Desmond Ridder or any quarterback on our roster, I'll take Desmond Ridder.
Facts.
Sauce will take Desmond Ridder. He used to play with him. He'll take him.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Falcons and the Patriots, I think, were my last 2 wins on the schedule a couple weeks ago.
You might be right. You might be.
Which part? I mean, I'm hoping we had got much worse from the last couple weeks though. So
okay,
that was off the table. That was like 3-4 weeks ago. Yeah. Right now it's the Patriots.
We're just hoping it's the Patriots. We're just hoping we can beat the Patriots.
I'm good with that.
So speaking of this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, right? Because let's kind of try to compartmentalize some things. For one, him coming back this season, yay or nay?
No.
Yeah,
no,
I'm in the same boat.
I don't want him to, but I think he is. I don't want him to.
I think that's out of our hands. But if there's any common sense in that building, and I know the way things are going, if the locker room breaks at this point, it breaks, right? You still have Aaron Rodgers. A lot of guys are going to be shifting out of this offense anyways next year. Like, I had to take a look at the depth chart again, but I think we're playing backups at damn near every position outside of wide receiver 1 and tight end 1. Let me think. Running back, tight end, wide receiver. Yeah, I think we have backups at pretty much every other position other than Joe Tippmann playing key roles for us. So there's going to be some changes, right? A lot of like 1-year contracts and all that kind of crap too. But like, it doesn't make sense whatsoever that Aaron Rodgers will come back. And to Dakota's point, not Dakota, my bad, Dark Soldier, I seen what he was saying, right? He wants to come back. I'm sure it is an ego thing. I'm sure it is kind of like a taste of being like, hey, Nathaniel Hackett play calling isn't an issue if you have yourself I don't even want to say solid quarterback because that's disrespectful to him, but insert a quarterback that isn't fucking the worst of the worst, and here's what we'll get, right? But it just ultimately doesn't make sense. Like, do the practices. I'm fine with the practices. Nobody's going to hit you in practice, right? Nobody should be so dumb to, sack an Aaron Rodgers or something and we catch an injury. But to go into a game setting, there's literally no reason whatsoever. You're not going to fix anything this year. Nope. Again, you're reworking your entire offense, essentially. I don't see the benefit, and the risk is so imagine he comes back, he jumps into what is it? I think he said the middle of December, right? So I think it is the Commanders game. He comes back. Yeah, he comes back. Deron Payne or somebody fucking sacks him, and he's laying out there on the floor again.
It's gonna happen.
Sprawled out, and we gotta hope to God that he does another speed bridge Achilles.
Especially with our turf right now. Especially with our turf right now.
Look, just so we don't miss him for the off-season training camp and all that. Like I think at that point you'd say that Solomon will get fired during the offseason, or right there on the spot, like in the game.
There's going to be some talks. Oh my God, there'll be some heavy talks with all of them.
You risk Aaron Rodgers, and you're done. I'm sorry. At this point, the incompetence is just too much. You got to go. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is about to be 40 years old. And I get what doctors are saying. I do believe him coming back is purely him just trying to defy medical science to prove that they don't have all the answers, right? I think it's to kind of like make his boy Hackett not look like a bum, but it's too late. We know it's going to be Rodgers and not Hackett, even if he does come back and makes the team offensively look good. Hackett is a hack, and we know that. But it's all about it's frustrating, man. But it's selfishness. Aaron Rodgers is coming back purely for ego and pure selfishness. We're not going to go on a run that's going to go ahead and give us freaking the 10 wins necessary to potentially make it as a wild card team. That's not going to happen. So you're coming back early right now purely to prove a point. Is that I'm him. I'm Aaron Rodgers. Medical science doesn't have all the answers. This is why I was able to come back and be the fastest quarterback or football player to ever come back from an Achilles tear. And I'm starting to feel like it wasn't even a full Achilles tear. Like at this point, the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, man, what does be a partial tear? And they just had to go ahead and repair it or something. Because it just seems odd to me, man. Because everything that I've read even says at the 3 month mark,
in the best case.
9 months is the best case. Even with this new way of doing it, where it reinforces the Achilles at the suture point. The Achilles itself has not healed. Like, it hasn't fused together yet. Like, it's still.
You're not even supposed to be walking right now.
You're not supposed to be
You're not supposed to walk at all right now. If you listen to Sherman on his show.
Cam Akers did it.
Yeah, but
he's playing running back.
6
more
months.
rigorous. It was like 5.5.
We're
splitting hairs, but I mean,
he came back for the Super Bowl. He came back for the Super Bowl.
6 months. It was.
He came back for the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
He toured earlier.
It's possible, but I did see some I know there was some reporter that was like calling out essentially the same thing. Like Aaron Rodgers is lying about like the type of injury he had. Like some people don't even think it's an Achilles anymore. Is something else. It was major, but like something else, and everybody's just kind of finessing the details.
All I know is if Aaron Rodgers comes back here in the month of December, mid-month December, it wasn't a full Achilles tear. It wasn't. It's just you can't convince me otherwise. This is Aaron Rodgers trying to, magnify the injury and then blow away the fact that medical science, doesn't have all the answers and that he's just built different, right? I don't believe dolphin noises is going to heal this man's Achilles, man. Like the only way he comes back and he looks like his normal self is because it was never a freaking full Achilles tear. It was potentially a partial or something like that, or maybe it was something else that freaking, tore. And I just, medically speaking, it makes no sense for him to even be risking it, walking around the way he has. But here we are.
Like, I'm not mad at it. Oh, go ahead,
But if you're the Commanders right now and Rodgers does play, what makes you think they're going to try and take him out again? Every team's going to try and take him out again because they don't want to see us succeed. They don't want to see the Jets succeed. They don't see anything succeed. And we know that we're shaky on the offensive line. You take out a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the best to play this game, you do it. Right?
I'm a little concerned about the word takeout. I know what you mean, but
I'm like, but that's your goal, is to tackle the quarterback.
Yeah.
That just literally came back from injury.
We haven't shown an ability to stop anybody from at least quarterback hits. So what a day, what a day, what a day. What a year. So kind of going back along the lines of this whole Aaron Rodgers crap. So we don't want him here for this season, right?
Yes.
Where was I going with this? Okay, so we get into the off season. What do you guys kind of think the plan is, right? Because I've heard a lot of stuff off rip, like we're not going to use our first rounder in the draft. We're going to use it for Devontae Adams. We still got to figure out what's going to happen with the coaching staff, which I know you guys still think Robert Saleh will end up being here, but like, what kind of major changes do you guys think are actually going to take place? And I say this because I put out a video about Aaron Rodgers essentially being like the shadow head man running the team, right? Everything we did last offseason was geared towards him and basically because of him. And I'm not just talking about the wish list. Like, you don't bring over the type of guys we brought just for the sake of installing an offense. Like, this pretty much felt like a self-fueled team for Aaron Rodgers and, playbook and all those issues that we talked about. So what kind of major changes do you see being influenced by Aaron Rodgers? I guess the better way to ask this question.
I mean, honestly, I think we're going to be just setting ourselves for disappointment if we believe for a second that anybody's getting fired. I've come to the realization that every single coach is going to be here. Joe Douglas will be here for next year. You've already heard Coach Saleh kind of like allude to the fact that Alan Lazard to be gone after next year. So at least they're already looking at getting rid of that bum and save some of the money that they gave him. I think a major addition right now, I really believe the Devontae Adams thing is real. I think that's going to be an addition that can boast up this offense. I like the possibility of a Mike Evans. I like the possibility of a Calvin Ridley. There's a couple of guys going into free agency that I think make a lot of sense that can help bolster this thing up. But if I'm being 100% honest with you, man, like if it's not Joe Alt in the draft, that's the only offensive lineman I look at. I'm like, okay, technically sound, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got the size,
Notre Dame,
he's got the strength.
Notre Dame, yeah.
Like he's the only one that I think can come in here and be a serviceable offensive lineman. You've seen over the last 5 years, offensive linemen have not, translated well to the NFL, especially offensive tackles. It's taken them anywhere from 3 to 4 years to finally get their feet underneath them. And we don't have Aaron Rodgers for the next 3 to 4 years. We just don't. So if it's not Joe Alt, I don't know if the offensive line help that we're hoping to get is going to be in this year's draft. So why not get Aaron Rodgers as many weapons as possible to get the ball out of his hand, a la the Bengals with Joe Burrow, to get the ball out of his hands quickly and make the offensive line not look as bad as they actually are. And in that situation, I think freaking Marvin Harrison Jr. is the unanimous decision. If we were able to draft that dude, I bring him in. I still bring in a Devontae Adams or Mike Evans or freaking Calvin Ridley. You've got 3 wide receivers that can go ahead and create separation and make things happen after the catch. then it's just a matter of getting the ball out of your hands in 2.4 seconds or less every time you're back there, and your offensive line issues can be mitigated. People are really high on go offensive line, go offensive line. We've been trying that. It hasn't helped. Elijah Vera Tucker, as good as he is, he can't stay healthy. Mekhi Becton, as great as he was, he can't stay healthy. And you're seeing it all across the NFL right now. First round freaking offensive tackles specifically are struggling mightily across the NFL. The formula is not what it used to be. These dudes in college now aren't getting the same kind of reps and ability to go ahead and train and adapt to become NFL level offensive linemen. It's taken them significantly more time. We don't have that time. We don't. So Aaron Rodgers is known for his ability to go ahead and read defenses pre-snap. We're going to go ahead and get him some weapons to get the ball out of his hands ASAP. And then you got yourself a Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, and MHJ, and Breece Hall. Tyler Conklin, I think we'll be okay. I think the ability for him to find the hole every time, get the ball into the freaking weapons' hands, will be enough for us to go ahead and score points and be efficient on offense, make our offensive line look like they're at least decent, and let our defense do what they're made to do, play with a lead, right? Everyone's like, offensive line. We've tried that, guys. Let's just be honest. We've tried that. It hasn't worked, and it's not just us. Look around the NFL. People are trying that. Other teams are trying. It's not working too well when it comes to the offensive tackle position. Laken Tomlinson has figured out how to play football. I like what we've seen in Tippmann.
Exactly.
Oddly enough, man, Warren Carter kind of surprised me a little bit with how well he played this past week as well. We've got a couple of pieces. You get Elijah Vera Tucker back healthy. Maybe you go ahead and, put Mekhi Becton on a 1-year prove-it deal. Like we've got components, if they can stay healthy for the offensive line component, that we will be okay. We could at least be average with a guy like Aaron Rodgers operating the offense. Get that man more weapons. The more weapons we got, the better. That's my thought process on what this offseason should look like.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But I don't know. Based on Rodgers' history, and I hate to go down that road, but he still has a better receiver room than what he's worked with a lot of times towards the end with the Packers. I think you have to keep trying to chip away at that offensive line. We know with Aaron Rodgers, we'll be able to take advantage of having guys if it comes to fruition, like a Garrett Wilson and a Marvin Harrison or Devontae Adams, whoever it ends up being. But I keep having to think about life after Rodgers because I'm not even fully committed to the idea anymore. And it's tough to go down this road because we never really got to see what it would look like. But I'm not even fully committed that we're automatically a Super Bowl team with Aaron Rodgers anymore, the way this offense has looked. And it'll probably do a complete 180. That's fine. It's all gravy. But on paper, what I've seen out of this coaching staff right now, I couldn't commit to that. I couldn't tell you we'll be a top 5 team automatically just based on having a healthy Aaron Rodgers next year. The mental mode I'm in right now is you have to prove it to me. This might as well be a prove it deal that we went out there and gave them. So I have to kind of consider what's life after Aaron Rodgers going to be because, we'll have to reconstruct the quarterback room, and that's where things are going to start again, right? If Zach Wilson stays and they try to give him his true red shirt year again, by all means, fine. I doubt we'll be keeping Boyle. I doubt, Trevor Siemian is getting a return. So who's the young guy that you're going to try to redevelop, I guess, outside of Zach Wilson, in order to make that a consistent success? And so if they're not going to be able to take advantage of the weapons, you might as well try to give your offense an opportunity, whether that's with a new coaching staff or not, with a decent offensive line. I mean, realistically, health has been the most damning part of this because, again, I do think Joe Douglas has thrown a ton of resources at the line, and for the life of me, I don't understand how nothing is sticking. Like you go out and you get high price free agents, which has been backed up with solid play. You go out there and get you some high upside guys, a George Fant, a Morgan Moses type guy, veterans still playing, I won't say elite tier, but above average, high end draft picks like it. To somebody's comment that I've seen anyways, can we please talk about trying to get this field wrapped up? Because I wasn't one of those guys at first But it has to be. It has to.
It's been an issue for a long time. I've spoken about this. It needs to be fixed. This is just not good enough.
I don't have it in me to do the time to research it, but we have to have probably the highest rate of injuries like on our specific field out of the NFL. Like not alone just our team, but when you think about the guys that have come in, and we get crapped on a ton.
Yeah. 2020, the New York Jets have the most injuries on any particular field. Like I think 20 something lower body injuries from ACL tears, Achilles tears, like lower body freaking tears. And this is since 2020, man. Like that's 3 years, man. 20 season-ending injuries have happened on MetLife. Like that's insane to me, man.
I've seen the cap numbers. Like I don't know if you guys have seen. I can't remember the report.
It was insane, bro. Like you could field an all-pro team with the amount of money and quality of players lost on MetLife's turf, man. I don't understand what the issue is at this point, man. Like these are billionaires who've got the ability to go ahead and take care of this and fix it. These are billionaires who also have the ability to go ahead and protect their investment and give their players what they want. At the very least, at this point, you take the conversation away from you having one of the shittiest fields in the NFL, right? Like at this point, it's not like the whole.
Yeah, but didn't Goodell comment on this though?
Well, they had
something
that
about a
report.
science or something that they tested some things.
Yeah, they did that report on the NFL where basically the result was there wasn't a significantly higher level of injuries on turf versus grass fields, and it's so they didn't feel the need. They didn't feel the need to make it like an established addendum or whatever that everybody gets grass fields.
But at the end of the day, though, at some point you gotta look at what the players are asking for, and when you're losing. Multi-million-dollar freaking players like an Aaron Rodgers, who was supposed to make this one of the most exciting seasons we've had in the New York area, in 4 snaps, you know what I'm saying? And the turf is being brought up as the cause for it. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, not all publicity is good publicity. At some point, you just got to say, let's just go ahead and just bite the bullet on this one and just swap it out.
Yes.
You're billionaires. It won't cost you that much to go ahead and replace this and make it grass. And the positive return on that, on the mentality of your players, is immeasurable. Like, you can't put a price on that. Your players feel better. They feel like they can go ahead and go a little harder on the grass or whatever. It's immeasurable. I don't understand the concept of replacing turf with more turf. At this point right now, I just think it's just pure stubbornness or pure penny pinching in order for you to go ahead and stick with this stuff, man. But I doubt they'll change it next year either, man. I don't know if it's going to matter. I doubt they'll change it next year because they just did a change this past offseason with this newer, better.
Right. They already, they tried updating the offseason. It's still a mess. I mean, you got the Kelsey brothers talking about it. You got the Dolphins players talking about it. There's going to be more piling up, and it's just going to continue to get worse.
Yeah, I know we got a special guest in here to come through and help kind of cipher through some thoughts here. Let me bring him in real quick.
Yo, I don't know about helping cipher any thoughts, bro, all right? But if you need someone that's about to bitch his ass off, all right? I'm breaking my rule of I wait till Wednesday on our show to do it. I was like, nope. I texted Italy. I was like, Italy, send me the link. He laughed at me. All right. You know what? I was going to join you, bro.
You didn't say send a link. You just called me out on a bunch of shit, and I laughed.
I'll play Mosley with you. What up, Gunny? What up, DK?
What's good, Jigger?
What's good, Jigger?
Guys, appreciate you letting me come on for a second. I'm going to give you my short list, all right? 1, I know it was just maybe 2 months ago, Gunny, and Italy on our show where we talked about it. Anybody that sits here and convinces themselves that anybody on this team, management-wise, front office-wise, is being let go, you're crazy, okay? Yeah. They made that very clear after play number 4, and we didn't go get a quarterback. They made it very clear that this season was a wash when they told us the kid that was going to be redshirted was going to be our starter for the rest of the season. Yep. So anybody at that moment that even in the back of their head was like, oh, we're going to get rid of Salah or JD, you're nuts. They all get a pass. Why? Are any of us sitting here celebrating Alan Lazard, Dalvin Cook, any of these guys if we didn't have Aaron Rodgers?
Nope.
To be fair, I didn't celebrate any of these bums anyways.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
was very
saying.
excited
We
about
didn't
the
celebrate
Allen
him from the
Lazard
get-go.
signing.
We all accepted it for one reason, Aaron Rodgers. So if the plan is still to bring Aaron Rodgers back and let Aaron do his thing, then we have to understand that every player, every signing, minus Cook will probably go and all that. That was a little spice up moment. But you're not going to get rid of your Lazards. That's still going to be here. I wouldn't be shocked if Tim Boyle is still the backup for us going into next year. You're still going to have Hackett. Everything is a wash. 2023 season was, hey, we roll the dice. Maybe something good comes with Zach. And if not, it's a wash. They all have been playing with that level of, we know our job is safe. That's why everything was political out of Salah's mouth week after week. And we're all like, man, how can you sit there and say that stuff? Because he has to. He has no choice. He can't blatantly sit there and be like, guys, when Aaron went down, 2023 went down, we're all going to be here next season. And then,
my bad. I got a funny image in my head.
No, that's great. Then here's the other thing, right? Everyone wants to talk about, oh, well, let's go and draft this and this. Why is everybody acting like we might even have these draft picks? You can't utter, I want Devontae Adams, and then also say, I want this in our draft picks. It's either or. It's not both, right? So you're now looking at, okay, if we're going to go make the move that we all were hoping happened this season, whether that was Evans, whether that was Devontae, now that's going to happen. This season is literally that meme of the guy getting kicked in the nuts by the Kung Fu master over and over again. That is our season. We sit here every week and just go, whoocha, whoocha, right in the nuts every freaking time. Last thing I'll say, and then I'll shut my ass up. If there's a man out there that is telling me he has a problem getting a woman, you're doing it wrong. Because if you're a Jet fan and you're a man, there is no way you cannot show loyalty and commitment to any woman you meet. Your line needs to be, girl, I will love you forever. She'll be like, oh, I heard that before. You just got to be like, I'm a Jets fan.
Hey, show him your Jets tattoo.
That's it. All right. That's how I landed. They're like, look at this committed idiot. All right. So listen, we're going to start a new show called Dating as a Jets Fan. We'll help you through it. We'll help you find.
Hey, this is facts. Hey, you basically talking to a room full of married men.
He is not wrong.
And Gunny, the other thing is you talked about it, man. Every game that we're going into weeks ago was, oh, these are the games we can win. These are the games where we can get right. Those don't exist anymore. We are that team. We're back to being that one that they circled. But beginning of the season with Aaron Rodgers, they circled us as, there's going to be a battle. Now it's circled as, that's a W. None of them scared of us. None of them.
We're not a given reason to.
We're not a threat
Thank you for
anymore.
sending me that link. Oh man, that felt good. I've been
That
holding
was
it
beautiful.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bro. Like that was sometimes you need a little bit of therapy, man. You got to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
You just got to
It
get
felt
it off
Hey,
your
good.
chest.
to be fair, Gunny's been trying to talk some sense to me about not this coaching staff not changing for like the last month. I think Jigga might have just tipped the scale. To be fair, hindsight is 2020, and I try not to go back that far. But to be honest, that's pretty damning that you had 8 weeks of opportunities to do something, anything. You punted the ball, and thinking about some of the press conferences and Robert Saleh and his sentiments on stuff. We basically being finessed. Like in the front, Robert Saleh's crying, he's upset, he's distressed, and then when he gets off the podium,
laughing.
Because think about it, bro. Everybody talks about the Hackett fault. Every single piece that you want to choose as the thing to pinpoint, it has a caveat with it. But Aaron Rodgers, but because of Aaron, like you can't say, get rid of Hackett. And then be like, we're going to get a whole new system. So you wait a minute. You're going to get rid of the guy that you brought in that has the system that goes for the guy that you brought in. But now you want to say get rid of him? Like it all doesn't match, right? And the other narrative that kills me is I am tired of bring him back so it carries into next season. That shit is not real. Whatever happens at the end of the season never carries over to the next season unless you're the freaking Chiefs, right? And even there is a perfect example. How slow do they start? Super Bowl champions, and then they start like dog crap, right? So the narrative, let him come in so he gets everybody riled up. No, it's a wash of a season. It's unfortunate. We all sat there and we fell for the hype that we knew we didn't want any part of when it came to Zach Wilson. And again, you ready, Gunny? We got excited about Zach Wilson losing to the Chiefs because he looked good.
Yep.
It was still a freaking loss, but we all somehow did our natural year after year Jets thing where, oh my God, guys.
It's happening. It's happening.
Oh my God, we had a comeback that we lost.
It's finally clicking with
What
Zach.
the shit?
The motherfucker has evolved.
Okay, everybody's looking at the Fail Mary as a bad thing. I was like, woohoo! Less of the butt fumble. Bring on the fail Hail Mary. I mean,
that Hail Mary
wasn't
as it was disastrous, but it wasn't that terrible when I went back and looked at it. And
right.
the two guys that I'm concerned about the most, obviously, are GW and Brees, right? But I seen Garrett Wilson trailing his ass from the other sideline all the way down to try to make a play. And I was like, okay, he's still with us, right? We don't have like a Deontay Johnson situation.
Bro, did you see
What, is that a football?
Hey, I heard the press conference after, and he was like, what were you doing there, the fumble? I was, doing what I do. It's like, what?
Which is nothing. So you showing no effort. Bro, I saw that. My brother is a huge Steelers fan, bro. And I was just like, yeah, what's up with your boy? And he was just like, that's just him, man. This is how he's been. This guy's a bum. He puts no effort out there. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't. And it got captured just beautifully, too, because it happened right around the fumble. So, like, everyone around him is, like, trying to get the ball, and he's just like,
literally
no effort at all,
he did
bro.
not give two shits.
You just gonna look at life around you happen and sit there.
Just did it.
The best part though, DK, is you see the video footage of after the game. They're on the locker room. He's celebrating like he did some shit. I was like, damn, that's a man that don't give a crap. He's like, oh yeah, we won. Did not even put any effort in that game.
No fucks.
Hey, this is a solid question for us as we kind of start working toward wrapping things up. How much of our deficiency, because we got a lot of them, if we're being 100, like if you take Aaron Rodgers out of the equation, we had a lot of issues. And it's not like we should be surprised. We talked about this a lot. Aaron Rodgers were going to fix a lot of things. We were excited about the offensive line, but there was still, to Jacob's point, the caveat. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quick. He's a mastermind manipulating defenses. We're going to be able to get penalties to help do stuff. Like, there's a lot. How much do you think he's going to be able to fix things for us?
I'll be the first to admit, man. I think Aaron Rodgers makes our offensive line look average. I think that the ability to go ahead and pre-snap identify defenses, go ahead and get the linemen where they need to be focused on for blocks and whatnot, that's going to be a huge help. That quick release is going to make the offense, again, look average. Now, if we're talking about this exact same roster, man, I felt once we lost Corey Davis, we never really got a wide receiver 2 back there after Garrett Wilson. So that's also concerning. I don't think Allen Lazard's a wide receiver 2. I think he's a low-end wide receiver 3, high-end wide receiver 4, right? Mecole Hardman, I guess there's a reason why, the Chiefs let him walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things start coming to fruition. We got 2 undrafted freaking free agents as the wide receivers. They weren't drafted for a reason. Like, all those things start to come to fruition, man. You look at Garrett Wilson, you look at Breece Hall, you look at Tyler Conklin, right? And Rucker we're still trying to go ahead and get him out there to get a better evaluation. I think with Aaron Rodgers, at the bare minimum, this team can get you 14 points a game, right, on the offensive side of the ball. Defense gets a couple of turnovers and gives them some short fields. You're adding to that as well. I think he does mask a lot of our offensive line issues, but the drops would be driving him insane. Because you can't fix that. Like, that's on the receivers. You saw Zach Wilson put some nice balls in the receivers' hands. They dropped them. It's happened already with Tim Boyle. There's no wide receiver 2 after freaking – there's no wide receiver after Garrett Wilson, really. It's a bunch of wide receiver 4s. That's not enough. So I think he'd be depending more on passes to Breece and passes to Tyler Conklin and Garrett Wilson. I don't know – are we winning a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers with this roster? No, we're not. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won a Super Bowl with better talent around him in a softer freaking conference. So I don't believe without putting some help around him, it's going to be enough. But yeah, I mean, okay for an NFL QB. I don't know, man. I don't think it's enough. I don't think Aaron Rodgers fixes what matters, and I think he's here for one reason and one reason only, to get us to a Super Bowl. I don't believe with this current roster, even Aaron Rodgers, fully healthy, could get us there.
I'll chime in before you, Italy, but I'm right there with you, especially the roster of health that we have right now. Yes, Aaron Rodgers will make anybody look better, even a crappy O-line like we have right now. But again, you're talking about all your O-line are gone. Corey Davis not here. Lazard's sitting on the bench at this point. Now you're hoping he's just going to come in and do something with Brownlee and all that. So to like Blitz BK's comment, I want to see Rodgers play this year to see what it looks like. Yeah, but you're not seeing what it looks like. You're just seeing Aaron Rodgers with a depleted offensive line, depleted offense. You're just seeing Aaron Rodgers play. We're not getting a look at what our team really was, right? And again, it goes back to what we talked about from the very beginning. All three of you have mentioned it time and time again. Even when we were excited about Aaron Rodgers before the injury, we were still calling and begging and crying, go get us a receiver. Go get us another big body out there. Lazard, we know, has hand problems with the ball. So it's like, yeah, we're not a Super Bowl team. And if you look at what we have right now, you're just wasting, in my eyes, Rodgers coming back. I don't care about the carryover into next season. Nah, keep running. Now is the time that you go and you say, put your fifth and sixth string receivers in. Let's see what we have with these O-linemen. Let's see who's going to, let go. What guys are we going to get rid of come defense time, because we have to re-sign guys and guys' contracts coming up. This is that time of the season. There's no point of sitting here saying, well, let's see what it looks like. Hey, newsflash, it's going to look like dog shit.
Overall, I think if Aaron Rodgers was here, the problem has been with the offensive line for years with all the injuries we have. We have the most O-line injuries. It would have been like the same thing. When Aaron Rodgers passes to you, and if you drop his pass, he's not going to throw to you, he's going to chew you out. He would have wheedled out what he likes and what he doesn't like. I mean, Randall Cobb has said that time and time again on Hard Knocks and training camp. Like, he would have critiqued even Hackett, but what she does anyway. He critiques some things. They say they're going to play Izzy. They say they're going to get Cook more involved. They're saying going to do other things more involved. Defense would have been fine, but Rodgers would have fixed some things, but all we would be doing is fighting for a wild card spot. That's it.
Can I ask you one question, DK?
Shoot.
Do you find it funny how when Zach was in there, they weren't willing to take any real risks, even a Hail Mary right before the half? But then your ass is bringing Tim Boyle, and you allow Tim Boyle to take shots that he can't hit and throw this Hail Mary. I wouldn't have mind. We called for weeks. I wouldn't mind to see them at least let Zach. You fed us Zach Wilson. Why didn't you open it up more and just let him do his thing? Right? That's still, to me, another part of this over the last couple of weeks that they really failed us.
Yeah, it's interesting because I tried to answer the same question for myself that I had when we were having this situation with Sam Darnold, right? Like, did he fail us or did we fail him kind of situation? And once again, I got to go back and say that it looks like we failed Zach Wilson right now. Obviously, the infrastructure was a lot better. You got him a number one wide receiver. At the time, you felt good about Becton. You bring in an ABT, all that good stuff. That's fine. But the development from like a coaching standpoint, since Mike LaFleur and then now with Nathaniel Hackett, there's not a single guy that we brought in that I can say on the offensive side outside of the line, and that's more specifically Tippmann. And he may already just be that great, right? There hasn't been any guy that I've looked at and say, hey, the defense, they have Quincy Williams, they have Bryce Huff, they have, even Bryce Hall made a redemption story this season, right? You can't look at a single person on offense and say, hey, this coaching staff, this guy right here, they got him to outperform expectations, right? And so that's kind of my concern. Zach Wilson, he could have been legendary. Maybe he was always a dud. We don't know. But I have more concerns with the coaching staff than anything from a personnel standpoint right now, because it feels like we only play to the level of the talent that we can bring in. We're not going to have anybody overachieve. We've heard Saleh say it in multiple press conferences, which I think falls on deaf ears. He holds the defense to an elite standard. He holds special teams to an elite standard. You never hear anything close to that with the offense, right? It's kind of more so like, hey, sweep the problems under the rug. We don't really want to give them problems. We know they're, they got a lot of, what's the word I used to always say? They got a lot of, fragile minds over there, basically, right? So I don't know what to tell you guys. Call me Garrett Wilson, right? I don't have the answers for anybody right now.
Put a towel over me like Breece Hall. Put a towel over me like Breece Hall, just sitting there.
I don't know what to tell anybody when it comes to what we can do, because even to y'all point, right? It was cool seeing Jason Brownlee come in and play almost 100% of the snaps, but it's like, what do you realistically expect to see when we've only thrown 4 passes, including the Hail Mary pass, 10 yards? What do you expect when Breece Hall is running into a fortress of 9 guys the moment he touches the ball? What do you expect when the defense don't even have to play press coverage with their cornerbacks and they can go out there and play zone and still fill the box? And, we can't find a pocket to attack anybody in. You brought in Israel Abanikanda and cut Michael Carter, which was your more sure-handed running back, and you don't want to play him because you're scared that he's not a proper run blocking or pass blocking running back right now. Like, it's a lot of questionable decisions from a coaching standpoint that, like, I don't know. Like, I remember asking Gunny and Gino about it last week. Like, I don't know. Does this happen with Aaron Rodgers as opposed to seeing it happen with a Zach Wilson and a Tim Boyle and stuff out there? Or like, who is weird? Because to me, Aaron Rodgers is definitely running this team. But then how are you also allowing, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, the coaching staff, the GM, etc., how are you allowing some of these things to happen? Which is why I personally, and I'm still kind of on that boat, I love Robert Saleh. He's one of my guys. But I think we need a fresh start, not only for life beyond Aaron Rodgers, but like, this is the time. You have a couple great college guys that are going to come up looking for opportunities. You have your Ben Johnsons and stuff out there. And I know people have asked, what would entice somebody to come to this situation? But to be honest, we're still in the same situation we were in when we were looking for a coach for Zach Wilson. You have a number 1 wide receiver. You have at least 1 or 2 bodies on the offensive line, ABT and Tippmann, most likely, that you feel comfortable with. You have to me, Tyler Conklin could probably be elite. And I would say Jeremy Ruckert could be average if you had the right play. Like, you have okay, so I'll pose this to you guys, right, to kind of put it in perspective. If you had somebody like I'll even throw in Matt Canada, right? That the Steelers can't. Matt Canada, Ben Johnson, whatever. Damn, what's
Frank
the dude
Reich?
that went to the Ravens? I wanted Frank Reich.
Frank Reich?
Whatever his name is. Munkin. That was the guy I definitely wanted. I desperately wanted him. But throw in any of those coordinators in this offense, even with some of the issues we've been having. Tell me that you don't see a complete transformation in this offense still. Maybe it doesn't look 100%. Like a top 10 offense, but it's going to look much better.
It'll be average. Yeah. Like I bet you they'll be in that 20 to 25 range.
Yeah.
Which right now defense, we wouldn't be sitting here pulling hair. Yeah.
They made the mistake of just turning everything around the minute they lost Rodgers to be, let's put this baby playbook together for Zach, right? And it's, again, I saw someone in the chat, I forgot, I think it was Wild Wave in your chat, that said, talent-wise, we didn't fail Zach, but coaching-wise, we did. And we did, because what people don't realize, too, is when Aaron Rodgers went down play number 4, you also lost Mr. Miyagi for Zach Wilson. That was the one reason all of us were okay with Zach still being here this season, after what we saw from him last season, was he's going to get mentored by Aaron Rodgers. You didn't bring any other coach. You didn't bring anybody in any level to help Zach even take it to the next level. All you did was let us watch week in and week out, confirm what we found out last season, that he doesn't have the IQ. He has the skill. He has the talent. He just doesn't have the IQ. So they literally fast forwarded us having to take a shit on this kid and saying, you're done. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's wild. I was just thinking about it. How many press conferences can you guys recall where it feels like or the post-game press conferences anyways, where it feels like the players are making the excuse for the coaching staff and not the other way around?
A little too often?
Yes.
A little too often, if I got to be honest.
That says everything that I needed to know right there about what I was going to do with the coaching staff as I was in charge. Like, I love the guys, and I don't know if I've ever actually seen a head coach get demoted and stay on their same team, but like, if Ulbrich is going anyways, and I love Saleh, like, move him to DC and then go and get you some guy that can actually go and operate a 2024 version of an NFL offense. I don't know. It's we're not going to talk things to death around here. It is what it is. We've all seen what it's looked like on Sundays.
It's just depressing.
It's depressing. I've been saying it all pod. It's just depressing.
Well, gentlemen, with that said, I don't even have it in me to try to be coming up with predictions for the next week's ass whooping. Like, final thoughts, I guess. We'll leave it at those for probably the remainder of this season.
Yeah, just enjoy the ride, guys. It's going to be one hell of a last 6 weeks. L's are going to be plentiful, and we got to look at the positives, and the positives are we're going to get a better draft pick, and hopefully the Jets can at least do us the honor of ending one streak this season, and that's beat the Patriots with the last game of the season. You know what I'm saying? Send us off on a little bit of a win there so we can go ahead and focus on next year. Aaron Rodgers, stay your ass in a hyperbolic chamber or listening to more dolphin noises.
Stay in LA.
Need you out there.
Stay in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
Just
stay in LA.
Stay where you're at, man. We don't put yourself out there right now to get hurt or to prove something. Let's really try this thing for real next year.
Overall, I think we'll get maybe 1 or 2 more wins. I hope it's against the Patriots, but that's pretty much it. Even there's low expectations for that too. I know we have almost 3 offensive line coming back next week, but it's not going to matter. It's figure out who the guys you want, figure out what attitudes are going to come alive because it's already there. Weed them out or figure it out in-house and just hope for the best. Take your blood pressure medication. Just keep your health in check. Keep your mental health in check because this is the life of a Jets fan. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh, my God. This guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have anything for you guys in terms of, overly optimistic, right? Here's what we can hang our hats on, though. We've seen that our defense is still fighting through as far as they can, right? Once you get to the third quarter and you're playing 2 to 3 times as many snaps as you normally would at that point, it's going to be rough. But you have a defense that's majority-wise going to be intact. And you have an offense, as we discussed, that has the pieces. You're going to get a healthy Aaron Rodgers, fingers crossed, that's returning. And we'll have another offseason to build around him with some more functional pieces, right? Not aged veterans that are getting the friendship discounts and all that kind of crap, but some actual solid pieces. And we'll see what happens, right? We sold out for a Super Bowl, so I at least have faith that the team is going to make all kind of moves to try to ensure that happens. So there's my 2 cents.
Sounds good to me.
That's all I got.
I mean, there's nothing else at this point.
We appreciate y'all coming through. As always, again, I know a lot of us will be, minus Gino. Gino hates it. A lot of us will start dropping in some mock draft content and all that kind of stuff.
I can't think like that. I can't think like that anymore. I love the draft. I do. I really do love the draft. It's one of my favorite things. I make it a 3-day thing, of course, but it's just right now.
I get you. It's too early. It's like having kids. It's just too early.
It's mock draft season time, baby.
Shut up, Gunny. God.
Just embrace it.
You know, you a Jets fan. You're a Jets fan. You
yeah,
know
stop
this.
reminding me. Stop reminding me.
This
November's
is the best
our
time
month.
of year for us. In
It's our
November?
month.
Bro,
We're already in
shine.
December this weekend, though.
We already know who the top 32 prospects in November are.
Facts.
I watch all kinds of stuff. Call them chill your guys. Like,
I'm not a college football guy, bro. I got a list of 10 players right now from 16 up.
Great. You want a
that
cookie?
I'm ready to bring into
What do
the
you
building.
want? You
I do
a
want the
cookie?
cookie. I want the cookie and I want a couple W's, all right?
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Instead, we
Oh,
got the
boy.
vacuum that got dumped out with all the shit that we picked up on the way. But, you know.
And we got a Costco.
Again, appreciate y'all coming through. Don't mind us, right? If you don't cry, you laugh. So enjoy.
And your blood pressure medication.
Facts. Well, maybe not because you're in the middle of a flight. I don't think they allow that. But when we land.